New York City Fire Museum is the sole nonprofit organization collecting, presenting, maintaining, and celebrating the historical and cultural identity of one of the most famous fire departments in the world, the FDNY. 2015 is an important year, a year in which the FDNY celebrates 150 years of outstanding service and commitment to New York City. The artifacts here tell the story of an important legacy. Just ask one of the museum volunteers, all retired members of the department.
Hi, my name is John Kenny. I'm a retired lieutenant.
My name is John Miller. Most of my time was spent in the Bronx.
My name is Wally Malone. I was a fireman in Brooklyn for 34 years. After working down at Ground Zero, I ended up coming to the Fire Museum and giving tours. And I says I really enjoy it. I think the people that come in here really get a lot out of it.
Well, we're surrounded here by the history of the fire department that dates back before our 150 years of paid service to colonial times when people volunteered and fought fires here in the city. And this museum preserves that history. It preserves our 150 years of FDNY. It has the greatest collection of fire memorabilia in the world. And on these floors, one can go through the history from colonial times to modern times and learn about the fire department every time you visit.
One of the best parts of visiting our museum is our docents. All of them are retired firefighters who volunteer their time to come in and chat with guests and share experiences of fighting fires in some of the busiest times New York City has ever seen. Visiting with them is a true New York experience.
A lot of people wouldn't believe this, but you work with guys who live 100, 150 miles away from you.
During the big blackout, I was actually in Brooklyn, and it was an amazing thing.
It was called the Nut House because one year they did 7,000 runs.
Yes, I was fortunate to be working the day that Flight 1549 landed in the Hudson.
I worked in a very unique firehouse up in the South Bronx during what they call the war years.
What I actually do is I take the kids on what we call the history tour. We teach them the history, the basic history of firefighting in New York City, from the 1600s up to the modern day time. We show them the old equipment that was used, from leather buckets up to the hoses and the hand pumpers and the steam rigs. And they get a very good outlook on how we used to fight fires years ago.
The museum does more than preserve the history of the FDNY. We also teach fire safety education to over 10,000 New York City children a year.
All right, ready to have fun? Yes! All right, let's do it.
We teach them not to be afraid of smoke. We actually put them through smoke. They crawl under the smoke. They know what to expect in case of a fire. Well, the museum is a teaching tool, too.
Make sure everybody got out. Person sitting in front of me, next to me. Everybody got out, right? Guys, who are the only people that go back into a fire? Alright, good. We never go back in. You guys are honorary firemen today.
I'm going to be a firefighter when I grow up.
The museum is operated by a nonprofit organization called the Friends of the New York City Fire Department Collection. In support of the FDNY's 150th anniversary, the New York City Fire Museum is embarking on a capital campaign to raise money to ensure the legacy of this department is preserved for future generations.
Well, preserving history is not free. So to preserve this great collection is going to cost us, and it's very worthwhile. And certainly the fire department supports the efforts of the museum to raise funds to save this collection and preserve it for everyone for all time. So I encourage everyone to get behind the museum's efforts to raise funds, and hopefully we will exceed our goals. And folks for the next generation and generations to come can see that history and learn about it here at the New York City Fire Museum.
With your generous support, we can restore and preserve 10 new major artifacts, renovate our fire safety mock apartment to incorporate more audio-visual components, build and enhance 15 exhibits leveraging new innovations and presentation technologies, provide fire safety education to an additional 15,000 children, capture the oral histories of 150 firefighters and share their stories to educate and inform, digitize and archive 15,000 new historic items, making them available to researchers worldwide. Support a wide range of museum events, from lecture series to block parties. We have a fantastic museum, but we have not yet reached our potential. This is our year to do just that.
Well, there's a lot of history here, a lot of these antique apparatus, memorabilia, equipment. I think the most important thing is the fire safety program. These kids that come through here, thousands and thousands of kids a year, are taught how to get out of a fire in an emergency, how to prevent a fire. There'll be a handful of kids that come through here that are going to be on fire after they come through here, and that's the most important thing is the education. And a couple hours that they hear in the morning, what they learn, they absorb so much and they take it home. That's what would be the biggest loss, is the education these school kids get when they come through here.
Join us in celebrating the FDNY's 150 years of rich history and culture. Visit our museum. Become a member. Give.
To find out more and support the New York City Fire Museum, visit nycfiremuseum.org.